Hey, True Believers, England Teen here with another batch of comic book reviews. This time around, it's all independent. And there I lost my last bit of audience here. Okay, so obviously one of the things we're going to be talking about is All America #1. I'm very excited about that. Also, you know, I've read a few independent comic books. I felt, you know what? Let's share them with you. Let me talk about these. Maybe it'll give you something else to go searching for at the comic book shop. Since Marvel's not doing anything, we're going to talk about Devil's Highway #1. Now, this is written by, I'm going to get these names wrong if I don't actually look them up here, Benjamin Piercy, and it was drawn by Brent Schoonover. And so this is an excellent example of, I would have to say, mood really, over anything else. This is one of those, and I've complained about them before. I'll complain about this one as well. This is one of those setting everything up issues. You know, there's not a lot that really happens here. It's a mystery. This woman shows up. Her father actually had been killed. So this woman shows up. This is the scene we're seeing right here. And she shows up to solve the mystery. Who killed him? Who killed him? What killed him? Whatever. And it's actually not bad. It's a little bit of a cat and mouse. It's it's all about like the trucker life almost, going from diner to diner. And this woman apparently kind of has been on the trail of this killer, and she's going. And finally, you know, someone close to her got killed. So there you go. She's going over, and it's one of these things where like she shows up in a town and she's like, "Show me all the evidence, Tom," to the police, and the police are like, "Well, Barbara, you know we can't. Show me all the evidence. You know what I could do, and I'll kick your ass again." Which I always thought, yeah, okay. Look, it's a good book. I know I'm kind of putting it down. Like I said before, this is very much an exercise in tone. It's an exercise in mood more than it is anything else. But so far, so good as far as the mystery is concerned. I'm appreciating it. I will follow this story. I think it's good enough to keep up with. There is a scene. There are a couple of scenes. Now, of course, we find out that the killer may be more than what they're trying to appear to be. As she's going through, she finds a symbol on all of the victims' chests, and she's trying to find what it is. Looking for clues around the diner. Okay, she finds a tooth and she looks on the window, and there's a handprint. I'm like, okay, now that handprint had to have stayed there through all that snow and all that wind, and she finds a tooth in the snow. I'm like, okay, look, I can believe a lot. You know, I read Superman comics. I can believe Superman can fly, and that's all fine. But she found a tooth in the snow. So it's like, yeah, you may be stretching my my sense of, what was it? Sense of disbelief or something. Anyway, I used to know language. But otherwise, like I said, it's a fun book where it's all atmosphere. And I got to tell you, I'm going to be reading issue #2. Have you heard about the lonesome loser beaten to death in a cemetery? So we've got the Grieving, and once again, yes, as I sang there, this is a book about, you know, well, she's this girl, and she is a kind of a loner, written by Steve Niles, art by Damian Worm. And this young lady decides, okay, well, you know, I'm going to go out to the cemetery. I'm going to talk to my mom. And it's a Halloween night, and she's just doing her thing when the local teenagers just said, "Hey, I'm bored. What do you want to do?" "I don't know. What do you want to do?" "Well, let's go to the cemetery." "Oh, it's such a Halloween thing to do." "Okay, we're going to go." And they're just hanging around, playing their bits and pieces, and of course they come across the lonesome loser. And through all fault of their own, end up pushing her into a headstone, which falls over and kills her. But there's a little bit of magic on hand, which revives her, and we see this young lady rise. And that, I'm telling you, is that you want to talk about a book that is written for the trade. This is all set up, by the way. I don't know what's coming next. It looks like it's a very interesting book. It does a lot of visual storytelling. By that I mean sequential art There are a lot of silent pages or pages with very few words on it, so you can let the art do the storytelling, and it works. I felt sorry for the character. I felt sorry for the young lady, and I should know her name, yes. But in all honesty, it was, yeah, I did. You know, this is just a girl who was there to visit her mom, and all of a sudden she gets killed for it. And it was ridiculous. Oh, her name's Lily, by the way. So I'm wondering, is this going to turn into a revenge book? Is it going to turn into a superpower? She goes home, and her father knows there's something wrong, of course. You know, she's living with him. And it's just, I don't know. This was a good character book. For as much as I say it was written for the trade as if it was an insult, because, you know, sometimes it is. At least this one took the time out to build interesting characters. It took the time out to make sure that we cared about who the action was happening to. And that is such a rarity, especially when it comes to the big two. But so when you get a book like this, this is one I can easily recommend. This is one I can say, look, if you don't mind these little horror books, and I guess this is the second one of the time, I think I think it's pretty good. You should check this one out. Alrighty, gang, now this is the one you're all waiting for. This is on the thumbnail. Woo! Okay, so if you are new to this channel and you don't know who Englantina is or anything like that, I have a channel called I Love Comics. That's where I started. It's become my live stream channel. Anyway, there I started doing America Chavez comic book reviews, and that's what really blew my channel up, because I would tear these things apart. They were ridiculously bad. So here we have All America #1, and oh my goodness gracious, this is a takeoff of America Chavez, to say the least. Written by Joe Casey, drawn by Dustin Nguyen. The art's pretty good, but it's really the writing. It's really the writing that nails it. So it's a parody, but it's also done right. I mean, this page right here, the fact that she's talking through social media. In the first issue, they had America Chavez, or was it the second? They had America Chavez punching out Hitler, and it was ridiculous. They make a call back to that. There are so many different callbacks to things. It's ridiculous. It really is. Here she's punching her and saying, I'm the real America. And of course you've got Captain America and Iron Man, but you can't call him Captain America and Iron Man. You got to call Thor like Storm God or something like that. So it's an obvious quote parody unquote. But if it were just a parody, I think it would fall flat. If it were just a parody, I don't believe this would be as good as it is. And this is a good book. This is a good, solid book, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you. I am happy to recommend every book here, but this is the one I'm saying, guys, you got to check this one out. It is so much fun, especially if you were on the bandwagon like myself, where we were just tearing into America Chavez books because of how bad Gabby Rivera, National Treasure Gabby Rivera, was writing them. But there are scenes where it's almost like a parody right out of the comic book, the America Chavez comics. And then there, of course, a lot of scenes that are from others, like this one. So America here, she goes over to this country, and the bad guy is like, I've got more enough to deal with you. And she punches him, and he's like, hold on, wait a second. You think you could do better for my country? There's no hunger, there's no war, there's no famine. You think you could come in? Yeah, but there's no freedom. And he nails her on being basically ineffective. You have no idea how to run a country. I have no idea what to do for a people. Have no idea what would be good or bad. And all you have is youthful exuberance and inexperience. And that wasn't a takedown of America Chavez. That was a takedown of Riri Williams when Bendis had her take over Litvira from Doctor Doom, which a lot of people, their eyes rolled like a slot machine. But the thing is, once again, I'm going to say this. If this was only a parody, it would be good for an issue. or two, because after a while, you're going to run out of things to parody. And instead, this tells its own story as well, both through sequential art and through great writing. And in that, I think, is where the book shines, because it becomes its own entity. It becomes its own thing. It does not need what happened in the America Chavez books in order to survive, or at least I'm from this first issue, that is what I'm getting from. So you may have heard this is good or bad or whatever. I'm in my opinion, I think this is actually better than good. I think this is a pretty great comic book, especially if you have read the America Chavez books, but that is not necessary to enjoy this. It's just like a little frosting on the cake, a little cherry on the top. And to tell you the truth, I'm very glad I did read those America Chavez books, and I'm really glad that I read All America #1, and I am so happy to recommend it to you. So there you go, gang. Those were my reviews. I only had 3 this time because I really wanted to talk a little bit extra on the All America. And as you can tell, I usually put the covers from the best book to the worst book. There's no real worst book. There's just the least good. All America was definitely my favorite. And after that, I've got to think about the Grieving. Or is it the Grieving? I guess I've been saying it wrong. I just looked at the cover there. I was like, wait a second, that doesn't say Grieving, it's Grieving. Either way, it is a really good book, and I really did care for the characters in that, and that's what put it above Devil's Highway, which I think is ambiance. Now I'm waiting for story to catch up to it. Good, entertaining, but it's not near great. It's not near, it's not at the top like the other two. So there you go. A couple of independent books for you, gang. So there you go. That's my opinion. What is yours? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to click on one of these videos that are popping up around here. Tell me what you think of that, and click like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell, making sure all notifications are set to all. And don't forget to go over to Patreon or to Ko-Fi, drop $1 in the till. Thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.